4 seconds.
What?
That's how long you have to answer a question before people stop listening to you. 4 seconds.
That's terrifying.
It should be, because that's exactly what happened to you in that meeting, right?
How did you know about that?
Because you told me, and because it happens to almost everyone listening right now.
Okay, that's painfully accurate.
Tell me exactly what happened.
My boss asked me a question in a meeting. I knew the answer immediately. In Vietnamese. By the time I finished translating it in my head, she'd already moved on to someone else.
How long did that translation actually take, like in actual seconds?
I don't know. 3, 4 seconds?
That's the whole problem. In a real conversation, 4 seconds is an eternity.
It didn't feel like 4 seconds. It felt instant, honestly, in my head.
That's exactly the trap. Translating always feels fast from the inside. From the outside, it's a wall of silence.
So what do I actually do about it?
Today, no vocabulary lists, no grammar, just one skill. How to actually stop translating, step by step, starting right now.
Just one skill? That feels almost too simple for something this frustrating.
It's simple to explain. It's a nightmare to actually do. And by the end of this episode, you're going to prove to yourself that you can do it.
How?
Because I'm going to ask you a question, no warning, just like your boss, and we'll see if you still freeze.
Wait, right now? Today?
Today, so pay attention.
Okay, so what are we actually going to learn?
4 things. First, why your brain translates automatically, the translation reflex.
Okay,
Second, how to connect feelings directly to English, skipping Vietnamese entirely.
that sounds hard.
Third, why slow speech is better than stopped speech. Keep the flow.
That's the opposite of what I thought.
Fourth, what to do when you forget a word. Simplify, don't stop.
Okay, I can do 4 things.
Good. Quick thing first. If you've ever gone blank translating in your head, hit subscribe, because this one's for you. Let's start with something most people never ask.
Okay, what's that?
Why does your brain translate in the first place? You didn't choose to do it. It just happens.
Honestly, I've never thought about that. It just feels automatic.
It is automatic, and there's a real reason for it. Your brain has one job above everything else, not speed, not fluency.
What is it?
Safety. Being correct.
Safety? What does safety have to do with translating?
Vietnamese is your safe zone. It's fast. It's certain. You never doubt it. English, for you right now, still carries risk. The risk of being wrong, so your brain quietly defaults to the safe option, every single time, without asking permission.
That actually makes a lot of sense. It's not that I'm bad at English. It's that my brain keeps choosing the safe path.
Exactly. There's a term for this. It's called a translation reflex. A reflex, like pulling your hand off something hot. You don't decide to do it. It just fires.
A reflex. So telling myself, stop translating, probably doesn't work at all, does it?
It almost never works. And I bet you've already tried it.
Constantly. I tell myself, just think in English, and somehow I end up translating even more than before.
That's not a failure, Paul. That's actually a well-known effect. The moment you try hard not to think about something, your brain focuses on it even more.
Like being told, don't think about a pink elephant, and suddenly that's all you can think about.
Exactly that. Telling your brain don't translate is basically asking it to think about translating, constantly, in order to avoid it.
Okay, that's honestly a relief to hear. I thought something was wrong with me specifically.
Nothing's wrong with you. The goal was just wrong. It was never about stopping translation through willpower.
Then what is the actual goal?
Making English fast enough and automatic enough that translation simply doesn't have time to happen. You don't fight the reflex directly. You make it unnecessary.
So if telling my brain to stop doesn't work, what actually does?
A specific drill. Let's actually do it, right now, together.
Okay, I'm ready. What is it?
We call it the direct connection drill. Instead of connecting a feeling to Vietnamese and then Vietnamese to English, you skip Vietnamese entirely.
Skip the translation completely?
Completely. We're removing the middleman. Vietnamese is the middleman standing between the feeling and the English word.
Okay, but how do I actually practice that?
With feelings. Physical, real feelings. Because feelings happen instantly, before you have time to think in any language at all.
That sounds a little intense, honestly.
It's supposed to. Ready? No warning. Exactly like real life.
Okay,
Right now, how does your stomach feel?
hungry. Actually hungry.
See that? No pause at all. That word came out before you even had time to translate.
Huh, that's true, actually. It just came out.
That's your gut reaction, literally and figuratively. Let's try another. Your body, right now, after this whole conversation already. How does it feel?
Tired. A little tired, actually.
Instant again. No translation gap at all.
Okay, this feels almost too easy so far.
It is easy with simple feelings. Let's make it harder.
Oh no.
Think about that meeting with your boss, right when you froze. What was that feeling, exactly?
It was,
Take your time.
I think, frustrated? No, wait, more like embarrassed, but also kind of panicked at the same time.
Notice what just happened there?
I paused. A lot longer than with hungry or tired.
Exactly. Complex feelings are harder to connect directly because you've spent your whole life describing them in Vietnamese. In detail, with nuance. English hasn't caught up yet for those specific ones.
So the drill isn't failing. It's showing me exactly where the gap actually is.
Precisely. Simple feelings. Instant, complex feelings. Still routing through Vietnamese first. That's not a flaw in you. That's just an accurate map of where you actually are right now.
That's strangely comforting. I thought I'd either be good at this or bad at it. Not good at some parts, still building others.
Almost nobody is fully one or the other. And now you actually know which specific feelings to practice this week, instead of guessing.
Okay, I actually really like this drill. Frustrated and relieved are definitely two I need to work on.
Perfect. Write those down. Now you, listening at home, pause the video right now. Take a second. Answer this question. How do you feel in this exact moment? One word, no translating. Try to say it in English immediately. Ready? Go.
I hope you did that, because that's exactly how you start building the habit.
Good. Now let's talk about something you probably believe that's actually working against you.
What now?
You think speaking fast means you're not translating, right?
Honestly, yes. I always feel like if I'm not fast, I'm failing at this.
That's actually backwards, and it's a really common trap. Speed isn't the goal. Continuous flow is the goal, and those are two very different things.
Wait, what's the difference exactly?
Fast speech that stops and restarts constantly is worse than slow speech that never fully stops. Stopping is where translation sneaks back in.
So slowing down on purpose could actually help me avoid translating.
Exactly the opposite of what most learners assume. We call it keeping the flow. Speaking slowly if needed, but never fully stopping to search for a word.
Can we try that? Describe something slowly, without stopping?
Let's do it. Tell me about your plans for this weekend. Slowly is completely fine. Just don't stop.
Okay, this weekend, I think I'm going to clean my apartment, and maybe call my sister, and then just relax, probably.
That was slow, but notice. You never actually stopped completely.
I didn't, did I? It felt slower than I wanted, but it also felt continuous, somehow.
Now compare that to a moment where you actually forget a word completely, mid-sentence. What normally happens?
I just stop. Dead silence, while I search for it in my head.
That silence is exactly where translation lives. So here's the fix. Instead of stopping to search for the exact word, simplify the sentence instead.
Simplify how? Exactly?
If you forget a specific word, say something simpler instead of freezing. Instead of stopping for furniture, you could just say, the things in my room.
So imperfect but continuous beats perfect but frozen.
Every single time. We call that simplify, don't stop. It keeps the flow alive, even when your vocabulary runs out mid-sentence.
I think that's honestly the opposite of what I've been trying to do this whole time. I've been trying to find the perfect word. Every time.
And that search is exactly where the 4-second gap comes from, like with your boss.
Okay. Slow but continuous. Simplify instead of freezing. I think I actually understand this now. Differently than before.
Good. Now you, at home. I want you to describe your weekend plans, slowly, but don't stop, no matter what. If you forget a word, simplify it. Ready? Go.
That's how you practice. Not perfectly, just continuously.
Exactly. And now, we're doing the real test.
Wait, the one you mentioned at the beginning?
Exactly the one. No warning. Exactly like real life.
Okay, I'm nervous, but go ahead.
Paul, your manager suddenly asks you, in front of the whole team, why the project is behind schedule. What do you say?
Well, I think it's because, okay, honestly, there were a few delays, and, we had to adjust the plan a little, but we're working on fixing it now.
How did that feel, compared to the meeting with your actual boss?
Honestly, still a small pause at the start, but nowhere near as long. I didn't fully freeze this time.
That's a real difference. And it happened in about 10 minutes of practice.
It actually is different. Before, I think I would have just gone completely silent for those first few seconds.
So if that exact question from your boss happened again today, right now, do you think you'd still freeze the same way?
Honestly, probably not the same way. I think I'd still need a breath, a small pause. But I don't think it would be 4 full seconds of nothing.
I think that's an honest and genuinely good answer.
It's strange, thinking about how close that whole meeting moment was to just this. A missing skill I never knew had a name.
Translation reflex isn't a personality flaw. It's just an unpracticed skill, like everything else.
Okay, let's recap quickly, because I actually want to remember all of this properly.
Go for it.
Number 1. Translation reflex. The brain defaulting to safety.
Good.
Number 2. Direct connection. Connecting feelings straight to English, skipping the middleman.
Yes.
Number 3. Keep the flow. Slow is fine, stopping isn't.
Perfect.
Number 4. Simplify, don't stop. When a word's missing, say it simpler instead of freezing.
All 4 in under a minute. Now here's your actual challenge for this week.
Okay, what is it?
Once a day, pick one real feeling. Hungry, tired, frustrated, relieved, whatever it actually is in that moment. And say it out loud in English, immediately. No translating first.
Just one feeling, once a day. That feels genuinely doable.
Small and doable beats big and abandoned after 2 days.
I can do that. One feeling, once a day.
So here's our question for you. What's a moment where you completely froze, translating in your head, just like Paul with his boss?
Tell us in the comments. We read every single one.
And here's a real challenge. In the comments, tell us one feeling you're going to practice this week. Just one, and why.
I'll start. I'm going to practice relieved because I never say it in English.
Good answer. Now you, at home, one feeling, 1 week. That's it.
If you found this helpful, share it with someone who froze in a meeting before.
Subscribe to King English Podcast. Turn on notifications.
Next week, we're going to talk about something even harder. How to handle conflict in English. When someone disagrees with you. When you have to defend yourself.
You don't want to miss that one. Paul's going to have to argue with me.
I'm actually scared now.
Good. That's the point.
Thanks for listening.
Keep practicing. And for the love of everything, stop translating.
See you in the next episode.